How to stop being a loser in 5 steps. Hi, I'm Dan Dos Santos from The Geek Physique. Welcome back to another video. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. So, the first step you want to do is work out where you want to be 3, 6, and 12 months from now. Now, this can be really hard, especially when you're feeling down in yourself. You don't really have an aim in life, and I remember how I felt at that stage in my life. So a really easy thing you can do is actually to work out where you don't want to be. And if you clicked on this video, the most obvious answer would be to not be a loser, right? So you could start off by working on the 5 things we focus on in this video, but you really want to expand on this. You really want to build up a picture of who you don't want to be in 3, 6, and 12 months and who you do want to be. And so start with the don't, right? Start with where you don't want to be, because that's going to give you something to run away from. A lot of great people use this kind of approach to map out a plan for life, including people like Jordan Peterson, etc. So, like I said, work out where you don't want to be and make it really specific and actually scary, right? Why don't you want to be a loser in 12 months' time? Why? Oh, because I might not have a girlfriend still, or I might not have any friends, or I might not have a career or even a job, or I might still be scrawny, or I might still be overweight, right? And then dig even deeper. Why does that affect you, right? I have low self-worth. I feel like no one takes notice of me. All of these things, right? And that's going to give you drive. And then the thing that you want to be is not those things, right? And I know that seems kind of obvious, but that will give you some goals to draw from, okay? If it's you don't want to be scrawny anymore, or you don't want to be overweight, then you should get in the gym, right? If it's you want to have a girlfriend, then you need to socialize more and put yourself out there. And we're going to get into some of these things more specifically, some examples actually that tie into the other steps. But just to recap, map out who you don't want to be 3, 6, and 12 months from now, and who you do want to be from that. The next step is instant gratification is not serving you. I'm sure if you're watching this video that you're similar to me when I was at that stage. All I really did in my life when I was in my early to mid-teens was play video games. I did have some friends, but I just felt like a loser, right? I didn't really feel like I was going really anywhere in life. And you might say, well, you're so young, how do you know where you're going? And you'd be right, you know. How can you know what you want to do at that age? But I knew I wanted to be more. I had this deep yearning, this feeling in myself that I could be more, that I was capable of more. And that actually things like fear and lack of knowledge and things were, I knew that things were holding me back. And one thing I realized that was holding me back is I was seeking instant pleasure everywhere, right? Things like fapping, things like playing video games, right? These kinds of things, I'm not going to say you have to eliminate them completely from your life. Some people do say that, but I would say you need to develop a better relationship with them and get the things you need to do done first. If you are going to do those things that are instantly pleasurable, leave them, don't just give them to yourself for nothing, because it actually has an effect on your dopamine system in your brain. Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot, and he knows a lot more of the technical stuff than I do on this. But simply put, you are actually rewiring your dopamine system to basically just reward you for nothing. And then when you get a real reward, it doesn't really have the same effect it would have done if, you know, you delayed that gratification. So if you do, and again, take the tips I'm going to focus on this video. If you focus on some of the things from this video and other things you need to do right in front of you, the work you need to do, the responsibilities you have, and then reward yourself with those things, they're going to be oh so much sweeter. And I don't see anything wrong with having that kind of reward system, because you might want to kick back and relax, and it might be video games that you do that with. Fapping is a bit of a different subject, and we can get into that in a bit, or maybe in another video, but video games or watching Netflix or whatever it may be, if you've done your work first, then you can enjoy that stuff after, and it's going to feel oh so much sweeter, right? The next one is start going to the gym. This is obviously a fitness channel first and foremost, but I'm all about helping other young men that are on a similar journey to I was, 3-5 years ago, wherever you are, get to, to hopefully learn some of the things I've learned along the way and avoid some of the mistakes that I made, and just kind of start sooner, right? So a big thing for me is the gym. I can't think of anything I've done in my life that's helped me more mentally and physically than the gym. And I'm going to list some reasons why. Now, obviously, it improves your appearance. This is one of the most obvious reasons people go to the gym. If you don't know, I actually have a rib cage deformity, and you can still slightly see it now, but I've made improvements from where I started. Okay, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I've made significant improvements from where I started. I've got other videos on that, and I'll probably link those at the end. But my point is, it started off being about my appearance, and it became so much more. And what I mean by that is the dedication, the consistency are two of the biggest things I got from going to the gym. Because with the gym, and I'm sure you know this or have an idea about this, it's not an instant fix. You have to grind, and you have to be patient, especially in the beginning. And you just kind of have to keep showing up, and slowly but surely the results start to come. But this brings me on to another point: little wins. The gym, more than anything in your life, gives you little wins. Just showing up is a win, because you know you're putting your health first, you're prioritizing your appearance, which is important to virtually everyone to some extent. You're prioritizing your mental health as well. Just showing up is a win. Adding 2.5 kg to the bar is a win. Losing or gaining 2.5 kg, depending on your goals, is a win, right? Losing or gaining an inch is a win, depending again on your goals. All of these things are little wins, and those add fuel to your fire. You get addicted to it. And if there's anything that's not the gym itself, but you shouldn't just be in the gym. But what I'm saying is that the thing you get addicted to is that idea of winning and moving forward. And it trickles out into other parts of your life in such a positive way that you start to think, well, if I just use this mentality in other parts of my life, sooner or later I'm going to get there. Maybe I won't get there as fast as this other person, but I know from the gym that as long as I just show up and be consistent, I can get better. Okay, the next one: stop bad habits and create better habits. This is similar to the points I've already touched on, okay? But this is a more general thing, and I've actually got a book suggestion. I've nearly finished this myself. It's Atomic Habits. It's an awesome book, really easy to read, and I'm not a big reader. I would say I actually am now, but I was never a big reader before. I never really finished a book until later in life. You're probably amazed to realize that. I have a short attention span, and it's only really as I got into my own self-development that I really started to fall in love with books and audiobooks and things like that. But getting back to my point, Atomic Habits really gives you a comprehensive and very practical guide in stopping your bad habits and creating good habits. So I would recommend getting this book on Audible if you have Audible, or buying the book and reading it. And the great thing about this book, I'll give you an example that's actually helped me read it faster than any other book I've ever read, is something it talks about in the book is habit stacking. And so stack something you already do or you like doing, like something you have to do in your life, to keep things moving, or something you liked already doing with something you know you need to do. So I know I want to read this book, but sometimes I find it hard to just sit down and read, especially if I'm inside. One thing I like doing, and I've liked doing for a while, is going for walks. Try to go for walks at least every day, especially when I'm working from home. And so on my walk, I'll take my book. I'll try not to listen to anything or watch anything on my phone. And it's nice to just have something which isn't a screen or in your ears, something different. So that's why I actually prefer the book. But my point, getting back to the stacking habits, is I'm going to walk anyway. So why not read my book at the same time? And so every time I go for a walk, I know I'm going to be able to read my book. And it's the same thing as, you know, if you go on the way to, if your gym is on the way to work, why not wake up early and just make a stop at the gym because you're going that way anyway, right? Or it's like, instead of putting the plate on the side, the dishwasher's right there. So it's no more extra effort to put it, okay, you open the dishwasher and put it in, okay. But, and I need to follow some of this advice as well. But if, you know, it's not filled with clean stuff, you can open it and put in a dirty plate, right? It seems super obvious, but it's usually the most obvious things right in front of us that we need to do that are going to help us. I truly believe that. So some other parts of the book I just want to touch on before I go on to my last step is your cues, right? And your reward systems. And so what these are is, a cue is something that actually signals you to start your habit, right? So it could be you know, buy toilet roll every so often, right? And when it runs out, that's your cue to go buy toilet roll, okay? That might be a bad example because it's not that frequent, and habits should be frequent, but essentially it's something that happens that signals you to do the habit. Just thought of one. When you're hungry, right, you need to eat, okay? A habit, we all eat. We all have the habit of eating, and we eat a good portion of us eat at relatively repeatable intervals, right? We might not all have 3 meals a day, but we eat at some time of the day. And most of us with any kind of life structure will follow a similar pattern of eating, right? And usually it will line up with our appetite as well. And so creating more positive cues is a really good thing. So what you can do is you can prepare your workout clothes for the next day. And that's you already promising yourself that you're going to go to the gym. And then when you wake up, that's going to cue you. It's going to signal you to go, okay, I'm going to put my workout clothes on and I'm going to go to the gym. Going to the reward systems, we talked about this earlier when it comes to, you know, playing video games and instant gratification. Those things aren't necessarily bad in the right doses, but really what you want to do is build your own reward system and align it with the habits we know you want to create. So when it comes to going to the gym, maybe you only play a video game if you've been to the gym that day, right? And then you know that you need to go to the gym to play video games. And this is something I used to do without even realizing it. So when I was at uni, I used to hang out with my friends downstairs. Like, we were in the same block, and all the lads were like on the ground floor, and we would chill pretty much every day anyway. So and they would always wake up later than me because some of them were in below years. So I had a lot more work. I was in my final year. And so I thought, okay, I want to get to the gym and I need to get my work done. So why not I do those things, and only if I do those things can I then go and chill with the guys. And it worked. The last point, I want to add something to this story because it also ties from the book, is breaking the things you need to do down into a chunk you'll actually do. This is something else Jordan Peterson talks about as well. Pick something that you know you're doing wrong, or that you know you need to do, and something that you could actually fix, or something that you could actually do and that you would fix or that you would do, right? So again, an example is, if you can't even fathom the idea of an hour-long workout, start with 5 minutes. And you might say, 5 minutes, I'm not even warmed up. I literally heard that from someone the other day, but I thought it's better than nothing. And you're actually building the habit of turning up to work out. And if you just do that for a few weeks, before you know it, you'll be doing 10 minutes or 15 minutes because of course you want it to be more effective. But sometimes just showing up is the hardest thing. So cut the things you need to do down to the smallest possible amount. And I'll give you another example from my uni work. I used to say to myself, for my end of year report, right, everyone leaves it to the last minute. I said, I don't want to be that guy because this is what's going to determine my grade. So to get it done, I would spend 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you know, on my uni days. So it's Monday to Friday. Again, I knew I was going to see my friends, and people would say to me, how do you get any work done in 10 minutes? And I go, well, I just pick up where I left off and I do what I can do. Sometimes it's not that effective 10 minutes, but I always got something done and I moved the needle. And before I knew it, it was done and I wasn't leaving it till the last minute. Okay. I think you get the point there. Buy the book, follow the instructions and tie them in with the steps from this video. The last step I'm going to give you is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Take on responsibility and challenges in your life, in work, socially, and personally. This is super important. And you can start by obviously following the steps in this video, mapping out a plan for your life and executing on it, right? But if you don't know where to start with taking on more responsibility, taking on challenges, look obviously to yourself, which we're doing now, but also look to your immediate circle, your family, right? None of our families are perfect. And maybe you can do more to help your family out. So start there. Once you've done that, maybe help out your neighbor, if you've got neighbors, or your friends with something, right? Or maybe take on a new job or a new career. And you might say, I don't know where to start with that. But just like in step 1, just taking something on helps you then take the next step. I'll give you an example. If you take a crappy job, which there's no shame in, and I'm not going to even mention a job because it's all subjective, right? But if you take on a job that you know you don't really want to do, but there's no really other better option, you can't figure out what job you want to do, just take on that job because you know you can probably get it, right? If they're looking for people, no one wants to do a job, you do the job. Stick it out for 6 months and you might hate it, but here's a really cool thing. You'll get a list of all the things that you don't want from your next job. You didn't even know what job you wanted to begin with. And after one job move and just 6 months, you've worked out a lot of the things you definitely don't want, which will help you find the things you do want, right? And this is what a lot of people, I think, get wrong, especially in this day and age, and especially the younger generation. I know I did this and I still do it to this day. And to get out my own way, I think, actually, just do what's right in front of me. And walking the path will reveal the path, right? I know it sounds a bit airy-fairy, but it is honestly true. The more you do, the more you'll be able to do. And I'm going to leave on that point. Okay, so that's the 5 steps to stop being a loser. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, and comment below if you disagree, if you have any questions, and stay tuned for another video. And there's going to be some videos somewhere on the screen, probably one including some fitness stuff, and maybe the most played or the most recent, I can't remember, but click on those if you're interested. And like I said, I'll see you in the next one.